Now at 5, neighboring fire departments work to extinguish a church fire in Chautauqua. Plus, 4 state educators are digging deep into their wallets to stock up on back-to-school supplies.
President Trump hosts foreign leaders at the White House for a peace agreement ending a decades-long conflict. I'm Erica Brown with more on that summit and a deadline for Russia to reach a ceasefire deal.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Kansas State Fire Marshal is called in to investigate after a former church building burns in Chautauqua. This is KOAM News at 5. I'm Tanya Bach. Firefighters responded to 403 Locust Avenue just after 7:30 last night. The large structure had visible smoke and flames when crews arrived. Fire departments assisted Chautauqua Fire, including Oswego, Columbus, Welch, Bartlett, and Edna fire departments. And crews cut a hole in the south gable and used a ladder truck to attack hotspots from above. Several firefighters were treated for heat exposure, but no serious injuries occurred. It's that time of year again. As summer winds down, teachers across the 4 states are gearing up for a brand new school year. And there's one place in Joplin that's buzzing with back-to-school energy. The owner of 4 State Teacher Resource says this is their busiest season as educators stock up on supplies, inspiration, and new ideas. With that said, the owner spills the tea on some of the teachers' favorite items this year.
This is our biggest seller this year. It's cool for school. It's a composition notebook theme combined with the checkerboard themes. And it's really popular. It's really cute, and the teachers love it.
According to couponbirds.com, Missouri teachers placed 5th worst in the nation for out-of-pocket cost on school supplies last year. Educators in the Show Me states spent on average over $1,300 each. Back to school for foster kids can be a challenging time, and some challenges are physical, like obtaining shot records, birth certificates, and other important documents. Others deal with emotions. The Family Initiative gives out tips for students and teachers to help with foster children. For example, practice sensitivity if the child asks a lot of questions, and leave room for them to ask questions.
They're living in a different home, in a different setting, and a lot of times that can mean, a different community from where they're originally from. And so any friend circles that they developed, extracurricular activities or hobbies that they've been involved in, that could all change with the move to a different school or if they're placed in foster care.
Well, coming up tonight on KOAM News at 6, we hear from Foster Adopt Connect about other things that can make the transition easier. Meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney joins us now with a first look at weather.
Well, we have a excessive heat warning now issued for Nowata and Washington County out there in Oklahoma, but the rest of us are under a heat advisory all the way through 8 p.m. on Saturday. So unfortunately, the hot days do continue all the way until the weekend. Now current temperatures out in Joplin about 96, getting up to 97 before we start to see temperatures drop, and it feels like 102, but we also have some strong winds gusting that may help the heat a little bit, may make you feel a little cooler. Now taking a look at around the area heat index, 107 Girard and Pittsburgh, 104 in Baxter Springs, 106 in Oswego, 108 out there in Veneta, south of I-44 and east of I-49, a little bit lower in the low hundreds to upper 90s. Overall tonight we're looking pretty good. Had a couple isolated showers, but we've got clear skies for the rest of the evening before rain picks up on Saturday, but I'll have all those details coming up.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. The focus is on global peace efforts at the White House today. President Trump welcomed the leaders of Azerbaijan and Armenia to the White House to talk about how to end a deadly 35-year conflict. The Trump administration is also trying to find peaceful solutions to the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine. Erica Brown has more from the White House.
The leaders of Azerbaijan and Armenia are set to sign a U.S.-brokered peace agreement to end decades of fighting between the two countries. The framework includes exclusive U.S. development rights of a critical transit corridor through the South Caucasus Mountains, called the Trump Route for International Peace and Prosperity. This agreement comes as the White House continues to face challenges brokering crucial peace deals in other parts of the world. The U.S. has been pushing for a peace deal between Israel and Hamas. Israel recently announced plans for a full military occupation of Gaza City, despite global backlash and protests from some Israelis.
Ultimately, it's the decision that the Israelis and only the Israelis can make.
President Trump's deadline for Russia to reach a ceasefire deal with Ukraine or face economic consequences also arrives on Friday, but the White House has yet to announce any new financial penalties. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
CBS News has learned the U.S. is working on a site for a potential meeting between Presidents Trump, Putin, and Zelensky that could happen as early as next week. The United Arab Emirates, Rome, and Hungary are 3 locations under consideration. Well, it's been 2 years since a deadly wildfire leveled much of a historic community on the Hawaiian island of Maui. Residents in Lahaina are still struggling to cope with painful losses and an uncertain future. Rebuilding Lahaina is far from over, and displaced residents will lose housing assistance from FEMA come February. New construction along the city's Front Street business district is practically non-existent. The Pioneer Inn, a fixture in the community for more than 120 years, was reduced to a pile of ash.
I have hope. You know, we're at a point now where I would love to see Lahaina come back. I mean, I think it's the rightful thing to do. We're struggling to figure that out and can't really get any answers.
The mayor of Maui County says recovery efforts have focused on rebuilding homes, but he insists commercial properties have not been forgotten. Lahaina wildfire killed 102 people and destroyed more than 2,200 structures. Still ahead, are you washing your hands?
Washing your hands is one of the best ways to stay healthy. I'm Michael George with the findings of a new survey that finds many people know this, but still aren't doing this simple task.
But first, in Health Watch, a study reveals 8 out of 10 people are not getting the vaccines they need. Topping today's Health Watch, nearly half of Americans are unaware of vaccines recommended for them. A UC Riverside study also found more than 8 in 10 people have not received the vaccines they should be getting. Researchers recommend doctors talk to patients who visit the ER about recommended vaccines, especially among groups with low vaccination rates, including Black communities, the uninsured, and people without a primary care doctor. Exercise can be life-saving for people with type 2 diabetes. Danish researchers showed for people with type 2 diabetes, increased physical activity improves insulin sensitivity, blood sugar control, and lowers the risk of heart attacks, strokes, and death. Even light physical activity lowered the risk of major cardiac events by more than 20%. A new survey highlights the everyday challenges for people with IBS, or irritable bowel syndrome. The American Gastroenterological Association data shows IBS patients typically experience lower productivity at work and school for 11 days a month because of the condition. More than 70% of sufferers say it's difficult to plan things because of their symptoms, and they stay home more often as a result. Well, hand washing is critical to staying safe and healthy all year round, but a recent survey shows Americans still are not getting the message. Michael George reports.
It's something that takes just 20 seconds and can prevent you and your family from getting sick. Yet in a new survey, more than half of respondents said they know the proper way to wash their hands, but nearly half admitted to forgetting or choosing not to do the task at key times, like after visiting a grocery store, restaurant, or the doctor's office.
More concerning is that 1 in 5 admitted to actively choosing not to wash their hands at key times.
Marla Dalton is the CEO of the National Foundation for Infectious Diseases. The report also highlights, while many Americans know they should wash their hands after using the bathroom, handling food, or taking out the trash, only 29% said they were most likely to do so after coughing or sneezing.
80% of infectious diseases are actually spread by dirty hands. Estimates show that if everyone properly and routinely washed their hands, we could save up to 1 million lives a year around the world.
The COVID pandemic had quite an impact on hand-washing behavior, with more adults saying they wash their hands now. Dalton says when it comes to the best hand hygiene, think we love scrubbing really deep. Wet, lather, scrub, rinse, and dry.
The scrubbing really needs to take the 20 seconds. And then the dry is also really important, that we dry with friction, that we rub dry to make sure that we've really completed the process and tried to be as germ-free as possible.
Simple steps that can keep everyone safe and healthy. Michael George, CBS News.
Experts also remind us that germs can spread any time of the year, even in the summer months. So be diligent about hand washing all year long. Well, later, your summer travel budget.
The economy could be impacting Americans' vacation plans. I'm Cristian Benavides with what a new survey found about the summer travel season.
And the heat continues this weekend along with some more rain chances. I'll have those details coming up. The heat continues well into the weekend, not just for today, but we do see an excessive heat warning now issued because of Saturday's heat index. Let's go ahead and take a look. We also have heat advisories across the region for all of us, all extended until 8 p.m. on Saturday, and then excessive heat warnings for Newada and Washington County out in Oklahoma. Now today, so far, we've only gotten up to about 96 degrees in the Joplin area, but as we continue to warm up another degree or two, we're going to get up to about 97 or 98. Now our low this morning was mid to upper 70s. This is pretty well above average for this time of year. Now we're just going to continue that warming trend through Saturday, even into Sunday. Though Sunday we do start to see temperatures cooling. Now taking a look across the region, we had a few isolated showers wanting to pop up along the Joplin area, right along I-49. Now for the rest of the evening, we are looking pretty clear. You can see out in Seneca, Missouri at Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Sunny skies and clear skies for the rest of the night tonight. It is pretty humid out there. Dew points ranging from about 69, 68, so about 70 all the way up to 75. So we're in this muggy range, maybe even a little soupy out there. The benefit though is that we have some pretty strong wind gusts. It does help the feels like temperature just a little bit, but it feels like 101 in Webb City, 106 in Commerce, 107 in Newada, 108 in Veneta right now, about 100 in Mount Vernon. Not too bad out there. So a little hotter on the Kansas and the Oklahoma side currently, but they also have the strongest wind gusts. That's just going to help not feel as hot outside. Unfortunately, though, it is still pretty hot. Now, the rest of us seeing winds gusting 20 to 25 miles per hour. The further out northwest we go, closer to 30, even pushing up to 35 miles per hour. The winds stick around all night long, but temperatures only getting down to about 80 degrees. So that's well above average for this time of year. We've got one more truly hot day before we start to see temperatures cooling back down. That's going to be Saturday. Heat index getting similar to today, about 100 to 105, 106. A little cooler, not too bad. Now Sunday, those rain shower chances and thunderstorms start to creep back in, and we're only seeing heat index values upper 90s and low hundreds, all the way to about 101. Not too bad. We do have isolated storm chances through Saturday as well. Might get another one late tonight south of I-44, but we get into Saturday, and that's when we could see some pop-up storm chances throughout the day. Very isolated, not a big risk there, and partly to mostly cloudy skies there in the afternoon. Does clear out overnight, but more storms return as we head into Sunday. Isolated storms in the morning, southeastern Kansas, and then we could see some strong wind gusts in those northern counties just from a few clusters of storms in the north by midday. However, our front, you can see, starts to develop after 8 p.m. and then starts to move into the area. We do have a low risk for severe weather on Sunday night and into Monday morning, and you can see how those temperatures drop down from the mid to upper 90s all the way down to low 90s, even potentially, teetering the line a little bit there on Tuesday, 90 to 89, but we could see upper 80s one more time before we really see the August heat settle in.
Tuesday will definitely be the bright spot in our forecast.
Yes,
there.
it will.
All right. Thanks, Lindsay. Well, coming up, reward versus risk. How President Trump's executive order involving 401k savings could give more choices in retirement planning. Topping today's Consumer Watch, the job market is slowing and there is fear prices could go up. And that has many Americans rethinking their travel plans. CBS's Christian Benavides has the results of the latest survey.
Yeah, you're real summer might have to wait till next year.
Rachel Smilansky and Lorenzo Bryant are among the millions of Americans who are either putting off or changing their summer vacation plans.
I think cost of living is obviously a concern across the board. Obviously, wages haven't really increased with our cost of living.
Earlier this summer, a survey from LendingTree found more than 70% of Americans worried economic uncertainty would impact their ability to travel. Consumer finance analyst Matt Schultz.
A lot of the nervousness in the economy is about tariffs, not even necessarily about the actual impact. It's more about the uncertainty surrounding them.
The survey also found about half of all Americans are cutting back on the number of trips they plan to take.
The cost is definitely rising everywhere.
Priya told us she decided to move to Miami because the cost of vacationing in Florida to visit family members who live here became too much.
So I moved over here so I didn't have to basically go on vacation anymore. So I'm living in a vacation.
Schultz says there are easier ways to take time off without spending a lot of money.
There are plenty of cool places around you or that are a short plane flight or a little bit of a road trip away from where you live. And it really is important to take that vacation time that you have.
And of course, there's always a staycation, a cheap way to enjoy some time off. Cristian Benavides, CBS News, Miami.
Recent data shows some vacation hotspots such as Las Vegas and Cape Cod have seen a drop in tourism, though some of that is related to international travelers opting not to come to the U.S. An executive order signed yesterday allows workers to invest savings from their 401k plan in higher risk assets like private equity and cryptocurrency. Private equity and crypto firms have long sought access to the pool of 401k funds worth trillions of dollars.
This would be a rule that would have to develop over time. There's no law that prevents this right now, but right now what happens in the Labor Department is they say whoever is the plan sponsor has to put assets inside of the plan that are in the best interest of the participants.
While the executive order would give workers more choices in retirement planning, the rewards might not be worth the risk. Those assets tend to be volatile and hard to get rid of. They also come with hefty fees. Most retirement plans for Americans are made up of stock and bond investments. Final check of the forecast is next. Up next on the CBS Evening News, he was a space pioneer who was on the first mission from the Earth to the moon. Remembering astronaut Jim Lovell, commander of Apollo 13, who's died at 97. And then on KOAM News at 6, a Carthage high school student dies in a fatal wreck overnight in Carthage. Plus, a man is rescued from inside a massive grain bin. And local students volunteer at the Joplin Humane Society. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and KOAM News at 6. Well, NASA and the European Space Agency released images of an object which was discovered last month, passing by the Earth at 130,000 miles an hour. But the former chair of Harvard's astronomy department isn't convinced it's a comet. Professor Avi Loeb suggests it could possibly be alien technology.
Many characteristics of this object are not typical. The trajectory is fine-tuned. It's too big to be a rock. And moreover, it has glow in front of it instead of a tail behind it, like a comet looks.
Loeb says more study needs to be done, and right now he thinks it's still more likely to be a natural object than alien technology. Wouldn't that be cool, though?
That would be cool.
Final check of the weather?
Well, the weather is not cool. We are actually going to be pretty hot for the next couple of days. Still in the mid to upper 80s on Saturday and on Sunday, plus rain chances and even a cold front, if you'll call it that. Going to be moving in on Sunday. It doesn't really drop our temperatures down to cold levels quite yet, but at least a little cooler.
All right, well, we need that cool down. All right, thank you for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and we'll be back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Have a great evening and an even better tomorrow.